And so we'll start in the seat, nice and easy, whatever that looks like for you. Of course, you can, if you want to sit back up against something and that feels more supportive, great. If you'd like to lie down and you're like, I want to take this first portion of class in stillness, but it feels more relaxing to lay down, don't let me stop you. You take what you need. So whatever that is, go ahead and maybe find a little bit of movement in the shoulders. So like you're working out any fidgets or kinks before you find that stillness, maybe in the shoulders and the head and the neck. You might even take a moment here. If you're like me, you hold tension in the jaw and you don't even realize, right? It just becomes this like muscle memory of maybe where you accumulate a little bit of stress. So take a moment to open the mouth and maybe move the jaw back and forth all around. See what happens. And then allow the muscles of the jaw to soften, to release. And of course, you can let the mouth close, but then can the jaw still stay soft? Maybe let the eyes close for a moment, if that feels okay. Become aware of your breath, maybe for the first time all day thus far. And take a full breath in. Maybe now open your mouth and let out a slow exhale. And do that 2 more times on your own. So a slow breath in. Slow exhale out. Maybe start to just observe or notice what happens to your physical body, to your nervous system as you slow down the breath, like with intention. And if that feels really good, like almost effortless and exactly what your nervous system, what your body needs, I want you to almost keep that as like a metronome or a mantra or something to come back to throughout your time on your mat today. And so if you're focused on something else, or we're moving, or we're worried about our hand or our foot, or your mind even drifts away to another moment that isn't right here, right now, maybe just become aware of it and without judgment, bring it back to that anchor, a full breath in. You might even open the mouth and let the exhale be prominent. Let it be full of ease. So nice. And if you're in a seat, see if you can sit up just a little bit taller, like there was an invisible string attached to the crown of your head, just slightly pulling you up. And then keep that, but then start to drop your chin to the center of your chest so you feel a little bit of length in the back of the neck. And start to then roll your right ear over to the right, just a little stretch in the side of the neck. And bring your chin back through center down to the chest, and then roll your head over to the other side. And do that again through center, over to one side, and then back through center, over to the other. And come back through center, start to lift your chin, lift your face. Feel the front of the throat, stretch. And look straight ahead, maybe even flutter the eyes open. So nice. And then meet me in tabletop position. So hands and knees. If you have that pillow underneath you, you can, of course, move it off to the side. And once you are in tabletop position, take your fingers nice and wide apart. And your toes can be either tucked under if that feels more supportive, or untucked. And the tops of your feet press down into the ground a little bit more. So you let this become active, right? It doesn't have to be gripping. So there's a difference between like active and gripping. We want it to be active, but find ease in that action. So take a breath in, start to drop the belly, lift the tailbone, and lift the chin. So that feels good. So you're finding this cow pose. And then exhale to round your upper back and drop your chin to your chest or look in between your knees as you empty out. So move with breath here. 2 more rounds. Inhale to find cow. Slow exhale to find cat. There's no rush at all. We can actually do more work if we move slower. So inhale to find cow. Exhale to find cat. Excellent. And then come back to neutral. Start to walk your hands up your thighs. You'll rise up onto your knees. And once on your knees, reach your arms up and overhead. Take a deep breath in. You might even start to look up towards your fingertips so you can stretch a little bit taller. And then hook your thumbs together. See them hook together, and take your elbows a little bit wider and look straight ahead. So like you're creating this letter O around your head here. Maybe you find this active tug with the thumbs to let the arms find a little bit of strength. One more inhale right here. Excellent. And then drop your hands back down, tabletop pose. And then once you're there, send your right leg behind you, but I would like you to tuck your right toes onto the ground. So then you can press back through the right heel, get that stretch through the back of the right leg, maybe through the calf muscle. Excellent. And you'll spin that right heel down towards the ground. So you can really like plant that right foot. And your left toes might even come out to the left side of your mat a little bit more, a little kickstand, we'll call it. And start to reach your right hand up to the sky. And keep pressing down through your right foot. And if it feels good, reach your right fingertips forward over your head. So you really find that length, even in between your right ribs here, get really long. Take one more inhale. Excellent. Now your legs will stay the same. Start to rise up and reach your arms out like a T. So you're facing the long edge of your mat, facing the side. Drop your right hand down, reach your left hand up to the sky here. So finding gate pose. And maybe even look up to your left fingertips. One more big breath in. So nice. And then bring your hands back down. Meet me in tabletop pose. Take a breath in to find cow once you're there. And then exhale to round into cat. Come back to neutral. And again, walk your hands up your thighs. You'll rise up onto your knees. Reach arms up overhead. Big breath in here. Hook your thumbs one more time, elbows wide, create that letter O, maybe even look up or lift your chin. And then release, hands come back down, tabletop pose. It's almost like home base. Start to send your left leg behind you this time, but tuck your toe onto the ground. Press back through the left heel, get that stretch in the calf. If you need to move the heel a little bit to really find it, take what you need. And you'll bring that heel to the ground. So the outer edge of that left foot can land. And take your right foot over to the right. You'll reach your left hand up to the sky. And so the whole your whole chest here is just opening up to the side. Nice. And then you can reach your left hand overhead if that feels good. Take one more big breath in here. And you'll rise up, but bring your arms out like the letter T. So your legs are the same, right? Now you drop your left hand down the left leg. Right arm will reach up. Oh, nice. Find that stretch here through the right side. Maybe look to your right fingertips for one more breath in. Maybe give them a little wiggle. And you'll bring your hands back down, tabletop pose. One round of cat-cow here. Once you're there, inhale to lift your chest, lift your tailbone. And then exhale to round into cat, drop your head. And take your knees a little bit wider apart. Maybe even bring your big toes towards one another. Maybe they come together. Start to send your seat back towards your heels and drop onto your forearms if that feels good. And maybe even stack your hands and bring your head down towards your hands to find just a supported child's pose. If your head doesn't touch your hands, it's okay to just land on your forearms and then maybe just let your head hang here. So it's still this act of rest and you're drawing in and then softening something once you're there. Come back to your breath. That anchor, that mantra, slow breath in. Ease on your exhale. Two more. Breathe in and out. Last one in and out. So nice. Slowly come back up, hands and knees, tabletop pose. We're going to add on a little bit more. So start to send your right leg behind you. And you'll take your right foot, set it outside of your right hand. So you're just going to step it forward. You can wiggle walk it there once you get there. You can even wiggle walk it in a little bit more. Start to then reach your arms up and overhead. So you're just coming into a lunge. So right foot is forward, arms rise. And once you're there, take your right hand, wrap it around your left wrist, and just lean over to the right a bit. And so you're really calling on balance here. See if you can press your right big toe into the ground a little bit more. And you'll take a breath in to rise up. Start to bring your hands down inside your right foot. You'll tuck your back toes and lift your back knee up off the ground. Now, like you did before, now I want you to spin that back heel down so the outer edge of your left foot grounds. And start to rise up to warrior two pose. So you're starting to come up to standing. Your right knee is bent and your right toes are pointing forward. Your arms are out like a T. If that's too much, you can soften the elbows. Almost make like the letter W with the arms. And wherever you are, take a strong breath in. Stronger breath out. Start to straighten the leg. Reach your arms up and overhead. And parallel the feet. So all 10 toes face this long edge of your mat, the side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Take a big inhale to lift your chest, lift your chin. And then exhale to fold forward into this wide-legged stance. So if that means you bend the knees a lot, I'd love if you bent your knees. It feels so good to bend the knees and then let your head drop. Then work from there rather than thinking we need to lock the knees out and it has to be this intense, intense experience for our hamstrings. I'd rather you lessen that, bend your knees a lot, and then feel your pelvis almost tilt. So then let the head release. So giving your head and neck a little bit of softening here, a little bit of release if that feels okay. If it's too much to fold forward, I want you to think about just keeping your hands on the ground, bend your knees a lot, and maybe your chest is parallel to the ground here. And that is enough. Take a full breath in. Full exhale. Start to bring your hands either to your thighs or to your hips. And you'll slowly stand all the way up. Be slow about that rising. Once you are there, stand up tall. Keep that wide stance in the legs for a moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more like that. Huge inhale. Long exhale. And you'll step to the front of your mat. Bring your feet together or about hips width distance apart. Your arms can come down along your sides here. Let your palms face forward. Take a moment to shrug the shoulders up towards your ears on an inhale. And then relax them down and back on your exhale. Do that one more time. Draw them up on the inhale. Allow them to soften on the exhale. And you can bring your hands together right in front of your heart here. So you can physically start to feel that act of center, right? The balance between right and left. And start to shift your weight into your left foot. And you can pick your right foot up just to find tree pose. So I like to even just bring that right foot to the inside of my calf muscle, like right above the ankle. And that is enough. If you'd like to take it, you're feeling really wobbly, if you'd like to take a kickstand here, just bring the ball of your foot to the ground and maybe your heel just rests right above your ankle. And then wherever you are, find a steady point in front of you. In this tree pose, take a full breath in. Ease on your exhale. Be right where you are, right here, right now. 2 more breaths in and out. For this last round, if you'd like to reach your fingertips up overhead, grow this tree pose. And then you might even look up towards your fingertips. Excellent. Release. Bring both feet down to the ground. Again, palms forward, shrug the shoulders on the inhale. Let out a sigh on your exhale as they soften. Start to take a breath in and reach your hands up overhead. Both hands will rise. And then sit back into chair pose. So you're just creating a little bit more strength in the legs, or a lot more strength in the legs, rather. And then start to imagine you're sitting back into a chair. Try not to round like you would in cat pose. I want you to think about lifting through the chest. If you need to soften the elbows, take them wide. Take one more inhale here, nice and strong. Excellent. And then think about folding forward. So just hinging at the hips and then dropping your head. Take a halfway lift here. Your hands can come to your thighs or to your shins. And you'll slowly place your hands down, step back to downward facing dog. We're not going to be there long. So both feet step back, and then you'll drop your knees down, tabletop pose. So nice. Take a round of cat-cow here just to reset. Breathe in to lift the chest. Breathe out to round. Pausing in neutral. Start to send your left leg behind you. Let it float for a moment. Maybe even roll out the ankle for good measure after all of that work. And you'll step that left foot outside your left hand. Wiggle walk it in a bit. Be easy on yourself as you start to rise up into a lunge. Reach your hands overhead. Find your balance here. Your left hand will wrap around your right wrist and you'll lean over to the left. Just that side body length, creating it, and then you'll rise back up. Take your hands for a moment inside your left foot. All right, so back to the ground where they started. Now you'll tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, spin your back heel down, and it's that warrior two shape we're creating. Reach the arms nice and long once you're there, or soften the elbows, your choice. Maybe even hands come to your belly for a moment to anchor you in to your breath. You're here, full breath in, full exhale out. Just take one more strong inhale, strong exhale. Start to straighten the legs, parallel the feet, and something different. So we're not folding forward here. What I would like you to do is heel to your feet just a little bit closer together and start to bring your heels in, your toes out, and then start to bend your knees. So we're coming into goddess pose. So it doesn't have to be like a deep squat, like the deepest squat you've ever taken, but it's just an opportunity to build a little bit of strength, but then at the same time, lift your chest up. Excellent. So maybe one hand comes to your belly, one hand to your chest. Find your breath in this moment of challenge. You've got two. Full breath in. Soften something. On your exhale, one more big breath in. Fill all the way up. Bigger exhale, let it go. Excellent. Now straighten the legs, but parallel the feet like you did before. And bring your hands to your hips, lift your chest up, stand up nice and proud, and step to the top of your mat. Both feet will land there. Again, mountain pose. So really start to turn the palms forward, right? Like, so the thumbs are out, pinky fingers are in. And we do this so you can encourage the collarbones to broaden here, rather than just bringing your arms down along your sides. Can you feel that opening through the chest? Full inhale. Full exhale. Hands can come together right in front of your chest. Find that balance between right and left. And this time you shift the weight into the right foot. Finding your tree pose, whatever that looks like, whether it's that kickstand, maybe the foot rises and comes up higher on the leg. Once you start to notice what happens in the physical body, maybe you notice a difference between one side and the other. Just observe it. Just use it as like information rather than judgment. Full inhale. Full exhale. One more full round. Maybe you reach your hands up high as you breathe in. And out, you might even look up and set your left foot back onto your mat, palms forward again, nice and broad through the chest as you inhale, fill all the way up. Open your mouth, let out that sigh. So nice. And start to reach your hands all the way up, big breath in. Bring your hands back to your heart here and sit back in that chair pose. Last one, promise. Last and final, full breath in. Maybe sink just a little bit lower. One more inhale to lift your heart towards your thumbs. And then exhale, fold, hinge at the hips. And if it feels okay, you can drop the head. If not, hands can just come to your shins and your heart can reach forward a little bit more rather than folding all the way down. And when you're ready, your hands come down to the ground, step back to that down dog position. So just step one foot, the other foot, land knees on the mat. Round of cat cow here. It's your last one. Inhale to find cow. Exhale to find cat. Nice and slow. If you need a few more like that, take them. If that feels good. And if you're ready, just start to come into that child's pose again. So the knees come a little wider apart. Toes can come towards one another, hips back. You can drop onto your forearms, maybe create that pillow. Sometimes I even like to bring my hands to my forehead and pause. So the elbows stay down and I create almost like a little cradle for the head. Or you can just let the head drop. Wherever you've landed, just take a full breath in. Full exhale out. One more like that. Breathe all the way in. Ease on your exhale. Oh, nice. And then just for a moment, come back up to all fours. So you can then swing your legs around in front of you. So you just find a seat. You can let your legs find a little bit of a shake. Maybe you even give your legs a little bit of a massage if that feels okay. And then take the soles of your feet together, your knees out a little wider. And they don't have to come super close. You can almost make like a diamond-like shape just to sit up tall here on your inhale. Soften shoulders down your back, another opportunity to do so on your exhale. If you'd like to fold forward, of course you can. If you'd like to stay upright, soften the jaw, soften the face. And a full breath in wherever you are. Full exhale out. One more like that. Breathe all the way in. And out. Take your legs again out in front of you. You might even grab that pillow if you have it nearby. And you'll start to come down onto your back. And so have that pillow nearby if you know you want it for your rest, but we won't use it for this pose in particular. Take your arms down along your sides and bend your knees. Plant your feet about hips width distance apart. Your toes would be pointing straight forward towards the front of your mat. And then lift your seat up. So just a gentle bridge pose. It's not about how high your hips go, just a little bit of lift with the hips here. Look straight up towards the ceiling. Make sure the back of your head stays on your mat. Take one more inhale right here. And then exhale to lower your low back onto the earth. Pause here for a moment and even bring your hands to your belly. Close your eyes. Before we start to set ourselves up for rest, take a little bit of a breathing exercise here. And so just take a natural breath in, just observe the inhale. Observe your exhale. And see if you feel movement underneath your hands. And if you don't, that's okay. I just want you to start to like connect or notice where movement happens in the body when you breathe. What expands? What contracts? I want you to then notice if you can start to feel the belly rise and expand into your hands on your inhale. Like it was filling up like a balloon. Your navel was almost pressing up. And then as you exhale, soften that, let it release, almost like that balloon was deflating. Take a few more rounds on your own, just playing with that, observing. So, seeing if you can almost press the navel up into your hands as you breathe in. So you're filling up that balloon on your inhale with your breath. And the exhale presses the air out. And we start to breathe from our belly rather than from just the top of our lungs. We allow or we give our body the signal that it's okay to relax. We do that one more time. Breathe in, fill up with the belly. Breathe out, finding ease. And if you'd like to continue with that, like diaphragmatic breathing, that belly breathing, you of course can continue on with that. If you'd like to take your full rest, you can slide that pillow either underneath the back of your legs or the creases of your knees or under your head, wherever you'd like support. The legs can go long. The hands can stay on the belly. That's helpful. And the arms can come down along the sides. The eyes can stay closed or soften. A breath in and a breath out. And just a quick little body scan here. See if you can soften the toes, the ankles, muscles in your legs. And your hips, your pelvis. The muscles in your belly, let them find ease. Across your chest, your shoulders, your upper back. Down the arms, the wrists, even the tips of the fingers. Allow them to soften. Back of the neck, front of the throat. The muscles in your jaw, and the features of your face around the eyes, forehead, and even the top of your head here. Take a full breath in this moment of rest and release. In this moment of rest, maybe even find a little more strength. Take a breath in again. Ease on your exhale. Take two more right here. Inhale through your nose. Maybe even open up your mouth as you exhale slowly. Breathe in and out. And slowly start to invite movement to your fingers, to your toes, to your wrists and ankles. If you'd like a long body stretch, maybe even reach your arms overhead and point your toes forward. And begin to bend your knees. You'll roll to your side. And keep your eyes closed if you can, or heavy as you press yourself up to a seat. Once you are there, take a moment, maybe bring your hands together in front of your heart. Finding a balance, right, physically between right and left, but also this sort of maybe a takeaway from your practice today, a reminder to find a balance both in effort and strength, and also with ease and softening. With that balance between effort and ease, take a full inhale, a full exhale. Maybe even Bring your thumb tips to the center of your forehead and lift your face, lift your chin. Letting this practice be that reminder of being kind.